Hi, I'm Matt with MaximumLivingPower.com, and this is my relationship coaching video newsletter. And the topic of today's newsletter is going to be codependent relationship attachments. Well, in this particular video newsletter, I will be discussing codependent relationship attachments and how it affects your relationship success, and as well as how long and your fulfillment. Well, as far as codependent and like codependency and a lot of different topics, there's a lot of different information out there about that. But when I was younger and in my early 20s, probably more like early 20s and mid 20s, I struggled a lot in relationship attachments and became attached in bad relationships or relationships that didn't suit me, and really didn't understand why until after I started studying and doing all my research in relationships and attachment styles and different kind of codependent attachment styles as well. And one thing that I found is I was struggling with codependent attachments in my relationships, which caused me to stay in relationships, like I mentioned, that didn't suit me, that relationships that had completely different values and things in common, things that I devalued that I was still putting up with. And so if any of you are watching this particular video on on this topic, then just know that I struggled with this personally and had to overcome this. So I know, and I have empathy for you in this particular topic, because it can make relationships, terrible relationships, last a long time. And this is what caused me to be in a marriage that I wasn't happy and fulfilled about for almost 8 years. And the person that I got with, they weren't a bad person. She wasn't someone that did drugs or abused anything, which I was hold on high value, and was a great individual. It's just that we had different values when it comes to our mindsets, how we are emotionally, how we obviously grew up, and how it impacted the way we looked at life. And one way is that she was always negative about life, always not happy with her jobs, or not always happy with the way people treated her all the time, and she let that impact her. Whereas like with me, growing up in an environment that but basically they had my mom abused drugs. She was an alcoholic. We moved from place to place all the time, from school to school. Really didn't make a lot of friends coming up, when I was a kid, that I have today because of that reason. So I learned that, not to, let what people do and say to you impact you and the way you felt about yourself. But of course, at the same time, I didn't understand why I was attached to individuals whenever I got with them, and it was because I was struggling with this topic of codependent attachments. And so if you always look for bad relationships and maybe not know that, maybe it's just something that you get into a relationship, this ain't what you want, but you stay with it long term, and eventually get your heart broke, and then maybe the person comes back, you get back with them again, or you find somebody just like them and you stay with them even though it's not something you value, it's not your goals, values, or anything like that. Then that you could be struggling with relationship attachments from codependent situations. And after doing all the research and studying from relationship counselors and therapists and different people on that topic, I understood in my 20s, which I'm in my mid 30s now, but in my 20s, that I struggled with that. And once I found out why, I was able to avoid situations whenever I started dating someone, and I know this particular there was something about them that I didn't like, and I don't mean like just, oh well, I don't like the way their hair looks or something. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about a high value. Like if you value health, or if you value your job, or there's other values, like say if you're very religious individual and that's one of your high values, but you find people that are not religious, or that don't value their work, or don't value health, then that's what I mean by that. So if you keep finding people like that, then you probably are struggling with some kind of codependent attachments. So that's just something to keep in mind whenever you're dating, that if there's something that you're not that you value high, but you're just, okay, well, I can overlook that because they have, they look good, or they're just absolutely gorgeous, or this guy's absolutely handsome. I can overlook the fact that he's an alcoholic, or does drugs or something, which, trust me, I get that quite a bit. And I kind of struggled with not really that much of obviously the alcoholic, like dating an alcoholic or drug addict, because that was just something that I never had to deal with very much. But as far as in a relationship, because I had enough of it when I was a kid, but I still had other high value things that I perceived, for me was something that I wanted in a relationship. I still just overlooked it. So if you're struggling with that, there's a very good possibility that you're struggling with certain attachments. And then also, attachments make you stay in these relationships a lot longer, even well after they are not suiting you, not in your best interest. Basically just why people stay in relationships a lot longer. And you know deep down if you really are in love with this person. But if you're not really in love with this person, but you're still staying in the relationship, that's because you became attached to the situation, not to that person. And which you don't never want to be attached to something or someone because once you get attached to that, it's gonna basically, if the situation doesn't work out, or a job don't work out, or something like that, then you're gonna have heartbreak, you're gonna have suffering, stuff like that, or even some trauma if it's something that you really got attached to. So this was just something that I wanted to discuss a little bit. And another thing, it's hard to say no whenever you have this codependent attachment. So if it's hard for you to say no whenever it's not something you want to do, and your partner just something, I don't mean like going to play games or something like that, or like going out or something. I'm talking about something that has a really big impact of your life, then you just can't say no. It's a good chance you're struggling with codependent attachments as well. So just look into that. Do more of your research. If it's something that you find that maybe your parents have were alcoholics or drug addicts, or had an addiction, or maybe you were in a past relationship, past marriage that they had an addiction that that impacted you, maybe traumatized you, then maybe go find a counselor or a therapist and help overcome that, to where you can make better decisions in your relationships, and you don't have to become it'll help you with your attachments and help you understand a little bit more why you do the things that you do when you're in a relationship. So if you would like my help personally, you can go to my website at MaximumLivingPower.com, go to the coaching options tab, and select the option that works best for you. If you would like me to cover a certain topic in an upcoming newsletter, I do coaching in relationships, fitness and in health, and career coaching. Then just go to my website and to the contact me tab, and then email me your question. Please be patient, because I do get a lot of requests from my coaching clients, as well as other emails, but I will get to your question as soon as possible. If you would like to see upcoming videos on topics like these and other topics and relates to the relationship, career and fitness health. Subscribe, like, and share, and I will talk to you soon.